Well, howdy friends, and welcome back to the ranch. I'm Dr. Lee, and as you can see, it is another beautiful day in South Texas. It's about 80 degrees outside today, nice little cool breeze blowing, partly cloudy skies and birds singing. About the only way it could get any better is if it would rain a little bit, but we're not complaining. Anyway, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy day to stop by here for a little visit. You know, it means a lot to me. Today's video is going to get a little bit lengthy, so we're just going to jump right into it right now. About a year ago, my wife and I were at College Station, Texas, which is where Texas A&M is, about a 3-hour drive from here. We'd stopped into a little restaurant. We were walking to our booth, and we passed a booth that had 4 policemen in it. And as I always do, I just paused for a minute and I said, "Thank you fellas so much for keeping us safe." And then I just started walking on again. And before I got a couple of steps into heading toward my booth, one of the cops said, "You're very welcome, Dr. Lee." And I kind of turned around and smiled. So we had a little conversation going there for a minute, and they were being very polite and telling me how much they enjoyed this channel. And I thanked them profusely. And just about the time I was about to leave, I turned around and I said to them, "Let me ask you one more question. What do you not like about this channel?" And they got kind of quiet for a minute, and then one of them spoke up and he said, "The commercials." And he said, just like YouTube, any other channel on YouTube, the commercials drive you crazy. He said, just about the time you're really getting into it, here comes a commercial, and it's a buzzkill. It just throws a wet blanket on everything, and then you have to start all over again, and 5 minutes later there's another commercial. And he said, they're really kind of a buzzkill. And I said, I totally agree with you. That's the way I feel about YouTube too. So that kind of stuck in my head. I've been trying to think of ways to get over it, and ever since then, anytime I meet someone that knows me from the channel and nothing else, I always ask them, you know, what they think the worst part of the channel is, and 9 times out of 10 it's the commercials. So I've been trying to figure out ways to get out of the commercials. Commercials do pay money. They do make me money, and money that's necessary. I added up my expenses over the 4 years and divided the expenses by the months, you know, 48 months. And I have about a $250 static debt every month, and that's everything from monthly editing software fees to cost of computers and GoPros. And you know, I spend $80 a month on AA batteries. You know, so it's kind of crazy running 13 game cams. But anyway, that all just figures in with, I'm trying to figure out another way to do this where you guys don't have to watch commercials every 5 minutes. I don't like them either. And I don't know if you know this or not, but every YouTuber has the option of having commercials or not having commercials. And most of us do because we have expenses, and a lot of YouTubers depend on this, just like Matt, as their job. You know, that's the way they make their money. But anyway, I started thinking about that, and I thought the only way around that is to get a sponsor, because sponsors pay more than the commercials. I got to thinking, if I could get a good sponsor, then I could just come in, do the intro, and then talk about whatever product the sponsor has, and then we could go the rest of the video without any interruptions. So that was my plan. I get about 3 or 4 emails a day from companies that are headhunters. They're the middleman. They try to connect content creators like myself with sponsors, and then they pull off a little percentage off the top too. But the problem is, like I said, I get 3 or 4 of these a day, and most of them are very poorly written offers. They're coming from people where English is not their primary language, and most of the products are shady at best. So it's kind of a dilemma. But anyway, I took 2 of what looked like the best headhunters that I'd seen, and I told them to find me a sponsor. And I also said, I let it be known that you and I have created a trust. We've created a channel full of really good-hearted people here. We appreciate each other. We respect one another. You guys take care of each other down in the comment section like no other channel on YouTube. This channel's full of love and kindness, and I told these people it's going to stay that way. Don't bring some crappy, you know, the best flashlight in the world made in Hong Kong to me to try to sell you, because there's a love and trust and respect that we've created. on this channel, and I refuse to jeopardize that. So over the last 2 or 3 months, I've been getting all these ridiculous offers from stupid companies with stupid products until one day a shining star appeared. And that shining star was HelloFresh. I first heard of HelloFresh. Matt, my son, who has the channel Off the Ranch, first was sponsored by HelloFresh 2 or 3 years ago, and I asked him at that time, I said, is that stuff good? And he goes, yeah, we really like it. And he said, more importantly, the kids like it. So at that time, my wife and I got on the HelloFresh bandwagon too, and we really like it too. And everything you hear about it, you know, I expected at first that it would be really costly, or the food would be, you know, marginal, whatever, but it's not. It's really good. So I was excited, and I thought, you know, if I could get more sponsors like HelloFresh, I could come in here, do one HelloFresh ad. It would take care of the expenses I have on this channel, and then I can go through the rest of the video totally uninterrupted. So today will be our first chance to do that. Looking forward to that. What I like about HelloFresh is their recipes feature produce that goes from the farm to my front door in under a week, which means their spring menu features the season's freshest flavors. You can customize your favorite dishes with HelloFresh's new Hello Custom offerings by swapping out one protein or side for another. You can upgrade the experience or even add proteins to a veggie meal. That means more choices, more variety, and more meals truly tailored to you. HelloFresh also makes it easy to adjust your plan to increase the size of your order with meal planning when large groups are coming over. HelloFresh also offers a wide variety of quick and easy recipes that minimize prep and make cleanup a breeze. HelloFresh won't get in the way of a busy day either. You can stay on track with their simple recipes and their fresh, pre-portioned ingredients that cut out meal prep and trips to the grocery store. HelloFresh has 50 weekly options for less what's for dinner and a whole lot more what else can I do with all this time. HelloFresh also cuts down on your food waste by at least 25% compared to grocery store shopping. And what I like about HelloFresh, with diesel fuel at $5 a gallon, HelloFresh is delivered right to my door, even out here on the ranch. So go to HelloFresh.com today and use the code DrLee16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 surprise gifts. Once again, go to HelloFresh.com and use the code DrLee16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 surprise gifts. Thank you, HelloFresh, for sponsoring this video, and thank you for your delicious, convenient, and economic meals. So thanks to HelloFresh, there should be no more commercials in today's video. So if you guys do get a commercial today, please list it in the comment section. Let me know what it is and what time you got it. Thank you very much. We're adding something new to the channel today I'm very excited about. I'll just give you a little back history on this. Drew, Matt, and myself are looking forward to doing some New Mexico BDRs. Those are back road discovery routes, hence the motorcycle here. We're taking motorcycles. I think Matt's taking a side-by-side, and we're gonna just go get lost in the wilderness for a week or so. We got that coming up. We also have a trip to Big Bend scheduled down on the Rio Grande. We're going to do exactly the same thing. In researching YouTube to try to figure out how to best do all these things on a motorcycle, I got interested in what's called Moto-Vlogging. And it's guys just like me that are content creators on YouTube that are vloggers, not bloggers, but vloggers with a V that stands for video. And basically these Moto-Vloggers, they put cameras on their helmets, GoPros on their handlebars, and they take off and they video everything. They come back and they edit all the images they took on their trip, and some of them are really fascinating. One girl that I follow right now is called Itchy Boots, and she is a moto vlogger. She's riding her motorcycle from South America to Alaska, and that motorcycle is a lot smaller than this one. So, but anyway, it's totally fascinating. But anyway, I am adding this to our channel. I'm not going to do it every week, but I just thought maybe every 4 or 6 weeks I could take a little trip on this motorcycle. There's a lot of good stuff to see here in the hill country. We've got everything from the Alamo to a cave full of bats. that I'm going to take you to today. So with no further ado, jump on. Let's go for a ride. Okay, let's go see some bats. Yes, I may have done a roll through right there. I would like to start a little bit earlier this morning, but the white-tailed deer, man, if it's dark at all, you're risking your life, especially on a motorcycle. I've got a friend who lost a leg from a deer running into the side of his motorcycle. He wasn't going 20-30 miles an hour. It's going to be a beautiful day. Beautiful sunrise already. And some buzzards. We hope they stay off the highway today. Whew, it doesn't smell very good. They were enjoying their breakfast already. Well, I hope you like these kind of vlogs. I don't know, this moto vlog, if you will. Texas hill country is beautiful. There's a bunch of goats right there. Got their little donkey out there. If you don't know, people put donkeys out with goats to protect them. Coyotes can come in and kill the goats, especially the babies. But man, if you have a donkey there, you don't have a coyote problem. They will take them out. They're mean. Mean when they want to be. We could have, where we're headed today, we could have been there a lot faster if I'd have gotten on the interstate. But I don't ride a motorcycle to ride on the interstate unless I need to get somewhere quickly. Today we're going to enjoy the ride. Like I said, you know, I usually say welcome to South Texas. It's really not deep South Texas. I just say that for the people around the world that don't really know the state that well. This is actually an area called the Texas Hill Country, and that's all it is hills. And it's really hard to appreciate hills on GoPro cameras and camcorders, all the type of cameras that I use and most YouTubers use. Anyway, we're going up here to see a bat cave. It used to be a railroad tunnel. It was cut by hand and dynamite back in the early 1900s, and it was back when those old steam locomotives came through here, and they could only pull about a 5% grade max. So there was a big hill up here. They built it between San Antonio and Fredericksburg, so all the people in Fredericksburg could take their produce and all their goods to San Antonio. All the farmers could. And it was just a really expensive. It was a 3-day trip by wagon, but by train it was 1 day. So they built this, and the government wouldn't do it, so a bunch of private people scrapped together $750,000, and they built them a railway. Well, there was only one hill they couldn't get up and over with all their trestles, and also they cut a hole through it, and it's about 900 feet long, and it's got about, right now it's got about 1 million bats, and it's somewhere between 750,000 and 1 million bats. The majority of them are Mexican free-tailed bats that are migratory bats. There's also what's called Myotis bats, which are bats that they hibernate. They stay here all the time. The Mexican free-tailed bat go down to Mexico. They'll leave here around September, October. They come back around April. And when they come back, the mamas are all pregnant, and the babies weigh 1/3 the amount that the moms weigh when they're not pregnant. So if you were a 120-pound lady, that would be like carrying a 40-pound baby. So pretty impressive. They can fly to Mexico to Texas with a 40-pound baby in tow. But nevertheless, they come back here and they have their little babies, and they go to a different cave to have their babies, because this one doesn't get hot enough. They like it over 100 degrees. And another interesting fact is some of these caves are all males, some of them are all females. This one here is a mixture of them, as it is a mixture of Myotis bats and Mexican free-tail bats. The free-tail bats, like I said, they migrate. The Myotis bats, they stay here year-round, and they really have to pull this windscreen down. The Myotis bats really took a hit when the temperatures got down to 5 degrees and stayed under freezing for a week. It's Valentine's Day last year, not this year, but last year, and killed a lot of them. But by the end of the summer, there will be about 3 million bats coming out of this cave right here, or tunnel, if you will. There's another bat cave called the Bracken Cave near San Antonio. It's got about 20 million bats, and if you put all the bats in the state of Texas together, there's somewhere between 100 and 150 million bats at any given time here. I think Texas by far has the greatest population of bats in the United States, for sure. But anyway, they're amazing little critters. When the moms have their babies, they put them all in a nursery. They don't stay with their moms. The moms go to them, and you have to realize these are mammals. They are haired. They don't have feathers, they have hairs. They don't have hollow bones like birds do. They have solid bones, so they're heavier. They can't glide. They fall like a rock if they're not using their wings. But anyway, to qualify for a mammal, you have to be haired. You have to give live birth, no eggs or anything like that. And the mothers have to produce milk. So through the day, the mothers have to seek out their baby, and you can put 500 bats in 1 square foot. So when you're thinking about the babies, no telling how many of them there are. But anyway, the babies all stay together, and the mothers seek them out. They seek them out by sound and by smell. And they nurse those babies every day. But after about 2 months, they come back to this cave with their babies in tow, and they stay here, like I said, until, you know, it starts getting cold. Usually when it gets cold, a big northern will blow through, and they'll go up real high in the sky, and they'll ride that breeze all the way south to Mexico. So that's kind of the way they work. But anyway, crazy little critters. They're built a lot like most mammals are. They look kind of, their skeletons do mimic human skeletons. They have fingers and a thumb on each wing, which is kind of crazy. And they're not blind like most people think that bats are blind. They can see just fine. The reason they come out at night is because that's the only time their food source comes out at night. These bats around here eat moths, and they will eat thousands of tons of moths a night. They eat, I think, like 40. I think each bat eats like 40 moths in a night. So if you multiply that times 100 million, that's several tons of moths that are taken away, that don't get into the farmers' corn crops, especially around here. So they do some good. You know, they do good. Plus, they're just really interesting little creatures if you like wildlife. And I think most of you guys that watch this channel love wildlife. I hope you do, because that's about all I put on it that's worth watching. Anyway, the bats, Mexican free-tail bats. And like I said, there's about, I think, 75,000 Myotis bats in the tunnel right now. And there's about, by the end of the summer, I think there'll be close to 3 million Mexican free-tail bats. Later in the summer, they come out later in the day. Right now, they come out around 8:30, just before dark. But as the food sources start to dwindle, they come out earlier. But I'll come back out here in August or September, and we'll get some videos of them. And it's interesting. I've been out here that time of year, and the bats will come out of the cave. They'll start gaining altitude, and far away you can see hawks diving down through the clouds of bats and getting their supper too. So it's kind of interesting little life cycle thing there. That Bracken Cave down by San Antonio's got about 20 million bats in it, and like I said, they're all females there. And then there's one in Austin, and like they all say, it's pretty much a bachelor pad. It's all men. I'm sure there's beer cans and all kinds of stuff on the floor in that cave. Looks like we're getting to work early today. And lo and behold, my friends, we are there. Okay, I've got my camera all set up here on this landing up above the tunnel. Actually, the tunnel's going right under us right now, and that is the area right there you're seeing is just over the south entrance to the tunnel. It's 8:33 p.m. and here come the bats right now. They're coming out in relatively small numbers right now, and as the numbers increase in this area right here, you'll see them kind of making a tornado type shape. They come up in a vortex, and that's the way they gain altitude. But kind of hard to tell right now because the numbers aren't great, but as the numbers increase, it's much easier to see. But anyway, it's like I said, it's 8:33 p.m. and these guys are coming out, and you'll see them. They'll come out, they've got the same path. They take the same path every night, and they kind of snake through these trees right here, right through the tops of these trees, and they'll go as far as 60 miles a night, and they won't be back home until early in the morning. Usually around daylight they start coming back, and they don't come back in mass like this. Right here, what we're seeing is approximately going to be about 1 million bats, and they don't all come back together. They all spread out and take off. They'll go down to the end of this little trough that they have right here, this little winding path over the old railroad track, and when they get down to the base of this hill, then they all just start going straight up. I think they catch the thermals and ride them, but you can see the numbers are getting more and more pronounced right now. That's a pretty thick bunch of bats right through there, quite a few of them. Okay, right now you can see the spinning, the vortex, the tornado of bats, if you will, and that's the way they get lift. That's the way they can keep flying and gain altitude at the same time. And you can tell, boy, that's just a lot of bats going through there, and it's hard to imagine that what we're seeing right now is only 1/3 of what we'll see later in the summer when all the rest of the migratory bats are here. And like I said, they come out at the end of the summer. They come out earlier in the day, so you can really see them when they get up in the air. This time of year, when it's this close to dark, it's really hard to see them. When they start gaining altitude, they kind of blend in. Plus, they're further away. But in another couple of months, they'll be much easier to see. And just about like they started coming out, they all just kind of disappear. Oh, this is so pretty down in here. But anyway, I hope you like our little ride today. Hope you got to enjoy the pictures of the bat cave and the bats all swirling out. Just another beautiful day in the Texas Hill Country. Such a pretty day. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed your little Texas Hill Country ride and our first experience at Moto-Vlogging. As I was putting all this video together, I could tell it was going to be a little rough. The editing was a bit of a trick, and I learned a whole lot about Moto-Vlogging. For those of you who are watching that do Moto-Vlogging, I would certainly appreciate any comments or critiques, even if they're a little bit ugly, because I can use all the help I can get. Anyway, friends, I hope you enjoyed watching that as much as I enjoyed making it. And folks, there is one more thing I'd like to bring up. I know over the years we've created a really wonderful community here, full of people that love one another, just good people that thrive on kindness. And I appreciate that more than anything else that has to do with this channel. There's a favor I would like to ask of you, for me to get more sponsors that I trust, so that we can cut out all the commercials in the rest of each video. I need more views, And basically, I'm not asking you just to go out and randomly ask people, to subscribe and ring the bell and all that stuff. I really don't care if they subscribe or not. If they like the channel, they will subscribe, and that's their choice. I don't want to press anybody into that. So the favor I would like to ask from you, I would really, really appreciate it if you could just stop and think for a moment of somebody who is like-minded. Whether it's someone who likes animals, or likes wildlife, or even likes motorcycles or photography, anything like that, any of the things that we do on here, are just good people that like good, wholesome entertainment. If you would think of just a couple of people and just ask them to watch this video, I would really, really appreciate that. If you can do that for me, it might really, really help this channel turn into something wonderful. It's already turned into something wonderful, but I think it could even get better. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for being my friends. Thank you so much for stopping by, spending a little time with me. You know, like I always say, you know how much it means to me, and I thank you. Let's all remember our friends over in Ukraine. Let's keep them in our prayers and in our heart. And I just hope that the world's treating you well. I hope life's going good. And I want you to always remember that I love you. God bless you all. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye now.
So what you doing there, Al?
Neutering a dog, Dad.
All right. Who's gonna learn you?
That's a mistake.